Hey, it's Vanessa the Crafty Gemini. I post weekly crafting, cooking, and organic gardening videos right here on my YouTube channel. In this video tutorial, I'm teaching you how to make a Scrappy bookmark using the new Brothers ScanNCut. So to get started, we're going to take some fabric, and notice there's nothing on the back side. This is just straight 100% cotton fabric, and you can stick it directly onto your cutting mat. This is amazing, the way that this will cut through the fabric without any kind of stabilizer behind it. I press the load mat button on the machine. I can load it in. Double check my blade depth right here. You can change it for cutting different thicknesses of fabrics and stuff. So set your blade depth, put it right back into the little carriage thing, lock it in place. Now we're going to select out the shapes that we want. The machine comes with a ton of preloaded designs. Right here under shapes, I want the square with the rounded corners. And now I'm going to change the size because I want it to be long and skinny like a bookmark looks. So if I click that little icon that you see that's purple there, that's going to allow me to change the width and the height measurements independently of each other. So you can already see that the shape is stretching out and starting to look more like a rectangle. I only want to cut one. Make sure I click to add the seam allowances, and to double check what my seam allowance is, you click the little wrench, scroll down to seam allowance, it's at 1/4 inch. You have a few other options, but I want it there, so select that, click set. Now I need to move my shape over to where my fabric scrap is on the mat. So I'm going to click it on the screen and drag it over to where the fabric is, because that's going to tell the machine where to cut out the shape. Okay, so it's super easy. Click OK. I want to cut right there. And all you got to do is press the start button and watch it do its work. Now just peel off the excess fabric, and you see that your shape is perfectly cut. I can lift it up with the little spatula that comes with the machine and set it aside. Next, you're going to need to cut out another identical piece, and I like to use some different fabrics here, just using up my scraps. So do the same thing, cut out the exact same shape, and set it aside as well. One is going to be for the front or the background of the front part of the bookmark, and the other will be for the backing. Now you can start embellishing. I'm using a skinnier scrap here that I'm going to do a really cool design. These are like for borders, and you can do this for scrapbooking and stuff. I'm going to use it on fabric. It's like a little strip that has some zigzag edges on it, and so I put it to the lowest height that it'll let me go, and then the width, I don't need it to be more than 10 inches because it's still going to be trimmed down, so that's fine. And then notice that the design is set to cut out horizontally. So I'm going to turn it by clicking on this button here, turn it 90 degrees to make it vertical, so now it matches up with the scrap that I have on my mat. So scoot it over to where your fabric is, click that OK button, then cut, and then the start button. And you see I have another perfectly cut shape, even with those little intricate sides on the fabric. And again, none of this fabric has any stabilizer or anything on the back. It's just straight cotton fabric. I feel like adding one more embellishment here, so I'm just selecting a circle. I'm going to make it big enough just to fit inside this little scrap here. Cut it out, and you can just feel free to use some of the preloaded designs. This machine will also let you scan in your own hand drawings or your own artwork and things like that. You can scan it in and cut those as well. I kind of like the way this looks right here. So once you have your finished design for the front of your bookmark, I like to use a fabric safe glue stick like the lapel stick, and just use it so I can stick on all my pieces, layering them up one on top of the other. It'll keep everything in place, and that way I don't need any pins when I go to machine stitch or machine applique all these things onto that background fabric. What you're going to have to do next is to cut out two pieces of preferably a fusible interfacing. I'm using some lightweight stuff here like craft fuse, and then I just fuse it down. Make sure that you're sticking the fusible side up towards the back or the wrong side of the fabric, okay? Fuse it into place and then trim away any excess interfacing you may have. And I just found this little cute trim that I think I want to add right here, so I'm going to cut a piece of that to stick it on there. Next thing is to stitch down all these pieces. We want to make sure that they're secured, okay, not just with the glue stick. You can see my stitching there. Once that's done, we cut a piece of ribbon, fold it in half, and sandwich it just like this between the two layers. Make sure you're laying them pretty sides touching. Pin all the way around. Then opposite the side of the ribbon at the bottom, you want to leave a little opening, okay? Just like that. And I use the 1/4 inch seam allowance to stitch all around. Then I flip the whole thing inside out through the opening. Make sure that you're using something with a blunt tip. Don't use a pair of scissors because you'll cut right through the corners of your bookmark. Give it a good press, top stitch it real close to the edge all around, and there's your finished bookmark. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, hit it with the thumbs up, share it across the different social media sites, and don't forget to click that subscribe button so you won't miss out on any of my future video tutorials. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!